But I realize I look at the tweets, I look at what they say very carefully. It's very constructed, very perfectly. Nothing like out of the road stuff. Oh no. But there are a few actors. There are a few actors that just point blankly don't give a damn. They are very expressive, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the ones in Hollywood or in the entertainment business or whatever that's just basically act like a renegade. I appreciate that because they show that who's really in control. The advertisers and the whoever that's signing their check for them, who's really in control? You know, so the ones that don't give a damn, that shows that that person's in control because they're not giving into the fear and all that stuff. So yeah. The thing is that, yeah, it's all about image. It's very, very important that a celebrity, depends who it is again, it's very important for them to maintain an image. You know? Again, you don't want to rock the boat. You know, you want to get that record deal. You want to get that cushy role that you like. You know, you don't want to get not picked. Before you know it, you're gonna realize like I haven't been calling for a role for a while. What's going on? It's because you open your mouth, you rock the boat. There's a lot of celebrities, you know, because I know deep down inside, I know a good number of people. And I'm going by my heart here. It's a good number of people know there's a lot of stuff that goes around, it's twisted, but they just make a decision not to talk. But I do follow some people on Twitter, you know. A lot of stuff that I talk about, okay? A lot of stuff I talk about is like really, it's like rogue. I will admit it. I'm a being that's all about rogue. I'm a renegade. You know, I give a 2 cents about any laws that we all created by spirit. So if you want to call me a lawbreaker or a rule breaker, okay, thank you very much. Matter of fact, I don't allow these things to scare me because in spirit I created that stuff. The same goes like everybody else. So I think I cover a good portion about the celebrity deal. It's not just you, everybody, you know, that don't show a great appreciation of yourself. You see, the celebrities, when they decide to not show a great appreciation of themselves, right? See, by choice now, they're going to align themselves with stuff that you basically gonna have to be a slave. You know, you got to be a slave to your image. You got to be a slave to your check that you get, your multi-million-dollar check. So yeah, you're a slave to those things. You know, that's it. And smile for the cameras. Yep. Basically look all plastic. It's just, I mean, might as well put yourself in a wax museum. I mean, why not? You just stand there and have your hand waved. It's just that you just, yeah, no different than a wax statue. Really not. In other words, you're just fake, but it's by choice. You know. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. Again, this is not anything to do with the individual itself. You see, it's the ideas that I talk about. You know, it's these ideas, you know, that we become a slave by. And everything's by choice. That's the beautiful thing about life. Nobody really has any power over you. To go on with politics. Politics. I always talk about politics a lot. Yeah, politics. Politics basically is like this, everybody. It's very similar to celebrity, but, you know, I realize in humanity that when you have a politician that flip-flops, okay, a lot of people look at them like, I can't believe you flip-flop. But the crazy rule about being a politician is that you're not allowed to flip-flop. If you change your mind radically 180 degrees, people are going to complain about you. You're not going to it's going to hurt your credibility, you know, your credential. Or let's just say if you want to run for a particular position, people gonna look at you like they can't trust you because you made a decision of your own right to change your mind on a particular subject that you, at one point, you believe that, I don't support this. And then if you decide to support something that's the complete opposite thing I realize about humanity, people get all up in arms about that. It's very fascinating. So yeah. It's amazing. It's like, and then a lot of people, we gravitate to these perfect couple, or let's just say the ideal perfect American family, right? They don't have any problems, everything is just perfect, it's like the good old American way, the good old American dream, kind of, everything's all, nice, perfect, right? All that. But there's a lot of holes in that stuff, There's a lot of holes in politics and all that. It's just amazing. I know I talk a lot about politics in a lot of my clips. We become divided with these parties, the Republicans and Democrats. We become divided. We go by these laws that we created. And, me and my friend was talking about how the law system works. It's about obey the law, be this good citizen. And it's funny. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about how America's freedom is built on rules. And it's interesting how she put it, because I have my own take on it, very similar. For her angle is very interesting. America's freedom is built by rules. It's not the actual freedom that we all, the definition of freedom. So a lot of us, we get sucked into this. We become a slave to these things. And then these laws, it's like, she put it like this, that she put it that basically the laws is just, you see, if nobody breaks the law, right, that we put out there, it's so weird. If nobody breaks these laws, the system is not going to make money. It's designed for you to break the laws. That's just how the system survives. It makes money off of you breaking the law. You think that, and you're probably feeling maybe because the laws, having some law and order just to keep you safe, but not really, please. Society's been happening. I realize humanity didn't always have this law and order stuff. It's just that it's been brought upon for the past over 50 years or so or more. I don't really have the date. I don't really care about it. All I'm telling you is that the whole system that we put together is based on money and linked to politics. So we got these lawmakers that we put in position, right? But again, if you don't break a law, it's not going to make money. And it would aggressively try to suggest for you to break the law or do certain crazy things. And I'm like, wow, it's fascinating. We had a great conversation recently about this. I'm like, wow, a lot of us feel like it's the only way to be, it's to be divided with these political parties. And not just here in the U.S., other parts of the world, we got communist politics. We feel powerless to control these things, meaning we feel powerless by choice now to remove these ideas of politics or government, because you feel that without control, you fear that it's chaos. So you need to be controlled by somebody. That's the whole thing too. So yeah, and fear, it's all this whole thing. It's all tied together, fear and all that. And we, especially here in the U.S. Here in the U.S., you fall for the same game every year, every 2 to 4 years. Every 2 to 4 years, it's always the same stuff. And and I feel like this whole thing with the politics, it is a cult, or I could say it's like a trance. Like so many people under a trance. I go on Twitter and I see stuff on my Twitter line, And I see people talk about the most ridiculous stuff, but it's by choice. You talk about so-and-so that's basically either gun rights or fair tax laws and other stuff. I'm like, man, people just still, making themselves as a victim and doing all kinds of stuff. Talk about stuff that's so, there's nothing meaningful about these things. But a lot of us, you play like you have no power. It's just, you play yourself as a victim. So, yeah, it's just, we continue being divided. And I see this for so long. It's like, man, like people just really think that they're holding on to this idea. They think that it's going to basically improve life. It's really not. And I see that. I literally see that. And we're a slave about these when it comes to politics, when it comes to these political ideas. We are. Some of you are afraid to speak out. Some of you are afraid to stick a middle finger to the American policy. Just an example. It could be a Russian policy, Chinese policy, whatever. Because you see, a lot of you, not all, are afraid to rock the boat, to stick a middle finger of your political policies of whatever country you're from, because you're afraid, by choice, that you're going to say, oh, you're an anti-American, or you're an anti-Russian, you're an anti-Chinese, the Republic of China. You're anti-that. So you don't want to rock the boat. You want to just go with the pack. You want to just basically be a follower, just by choice. You say this is something that you believe, but then it's an idea that just basically keeps you in the same loop. But again, it's a choice that I realize a lot of people put themselves in the sandbox. A lot of these things that it could be done away with. You do understand that if you decide to put aside these ideas, these political ideas, and basically, let's say, mature spiritually, okay, when you decide to mature spiritually and work well together and create and build things, you know that you're basically improving the life quality on earth. You know that. But a lot of you just love the soap opera. You love your political soap opera. You think by, for example, here in the U.S. now, you think by being divided with somebody else because they are Republican and they are a Democrat, you think that you're doing anything good. You're not doing anything good about it. You're just maintaining the same idea every single time. But I share these things. I tweet these things to Twitter. I don't really care, really, if people don't retweet the things I say. But I do know that the stuff that I do put out there is in my tweet line. And I do know people see what I put out there. I do know that. So yeah, that's the thing, it's just that I'm just calling out. And honestly, I'm not afraid to basically point things out, because I'm just breaking it down to everybody. No matter let's just say, no matter what opinion you might form about me in your head, that's fine. I'm gonna say this, is that I understand the BS so well. I obviously could see by choice. I've made a choice now. I've seen past these ideas. The thing too about here in America is that you feel that basically it's like, oh well, the system is not perfect, so you're gonna basically settle for less. You're gonna settle an idea for less, and because you say, oh, it's not perfect, so okay, all right, so it's not perfect. So what are you gonna do now? You can just you're gonna maintain the same thing over and over. It's not perfect, but what are we gonna do? Wow, okay. If you want to sell yourself short and sell you that story that it's not perfect, but you're gonna settle for less, okay. Be divided. Fight the same petty stuff that you've been doing for the past over 50 years in a good old land of the free. Okay, Have fun with that. Just think about that. I realized I learned a lot. I gotta tell you, growing up in New York, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. There's a reason why I chose to start my Earth experience, especially in New York City. I learned so much. New York City is like a mecca of so much stuff. I'm not saying it's the world, but it's a melting pot of so many things. It's just a lot. I realized growing up that I felt like everything about the stuff they talk about, like politics and everything, I feel like there's a lot of things. It's like a circle. It's like a big old circle. It's like you keep going around and around and around and around and around and around. I'm like, damn, it's like the same thing every time. You got the stock market go up and down. Why the stock market goes down? Fear. A lack mentality. All the stuff goes on. Yeah. You think that it's funny. It's like we still keep thinking that if you vote for a Democrat or Republican, for example, you think that it's going to improve the world. But again, we playing this game that that's just how things are. I say this in my other clips that certain let's say certain politician will pass certain bills just to keep your mouth shut. And that way you able to vote for him or her again. You know that, right? I believe you do know that. I've seen this pattern, especially in New York City. Laws, let's say a particular bill. I'll just say this real quick. A bill that, let's say, a politician sworn that he was going to support, blah blah, right? But then he got into office, for example, right? But then there's there's a delay. He's giving stories like, oh, well, you have to go through the process, right? But let's just say the first half of his, before he wants to get reelected, you're wondering why he didn't pass this bill or push for this bill to be passed for whatever reason. But then it's a strategy what politicians do. Okay, you see, when it comes to reelected, then the politician will basically suddenly somehow he's able to push the bill, get the bill signed, because it's a game. He figures that, okay, I got this bill passed, I got all my voters happy. That's going to guarantee me most likely that I'm going to get reelected. Yeah. And I see this pattern. I'm like, man, it's like, wow. I saw that. I was analyzing these stuff really quick. I mean, maybe I guess I am a political analyst. I mean, I never really label myself that, but I see the patterns of how politicians do things. Especially maybe I'm in my early 20s. I started seeing things more and more, even though I still supported the system in a sense. I think the year 2000, I was at a point of like not want to vote anymore. The whole scandal and all that 2000 vote, but I think 2008 it was like the last straw. I know when Obama started becoming running for president, the whole thing because he's black and all that stuff, and I see that the system that we all put together in spirit, the system saying that, okay, and again, keep in mind too, I want to say this to everybody, the idea of politics, you see, just like celebrity, you see, you're a slave to that, and the idea that we created suggests that you're stupid and you're slow, so you're going to constantly fall for the same thing over and over. It will try to change itself, change the setup just to trick you. It's a game. You know that. It's like a video game. It's going to try to change things up a little bit. So again, back to what I was going to say about the Obama. This is a part I'm only going to say names, but whatever. Obama. He's not 100% black, but the system could do its best but to give you a mulatto. But hey, he's not white. He's not white. Wow, he's not a white guy with gray hair, So the system is going to basically do its best. It's the best. This is the best that the system could do. It says that the people in the United States are so stupid basically is that they're gonna vote for somebody that's a different skin color. I mean, we couldn't groom 100% of a black person to basically be a president. So this is the best we could do. Of course, there's been backlash about this Obama, that he's not really from the U.S. and blah, 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 birth certificate and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, doesn't matter. The system's not going to listen to you on that note. But see, it gave its best to you. You see, the system broke the tradition of a white man being a president. So it gave you a mulatto. And there you go. Okay? So Obama successfully, 2 terms, he got in, right? Because the people in the United States are stupid. That's what the idea suggests. So many people are outraged. He's still outrageous. I mean, why are you complaining? I mean, wait a minute. I mean, the system got you a minority. You're supposed to be happy, grateful, right? I mean, not all, for those that's Democratic, you're supposed to be happy. I mean, even someone that's a Republican, people that's a fan of Republican, at least, come on. You got a first time in United States history, you got a minority. That's a president. I saw this whole thing with a bunch of BS. I'm like, you know what? I got tired. I was at a point that I was just so tired of the whole political stuff altogether. I just got really tired of it. I'm like, you know, I just did. My vote didn't count. I did vote for him, but my vote didn't count because I voted for I wasn't part of that district, so my vote didn't count. And I was so happy. I'm like, wow. So now, for what I last checked, okay, for those that still believe in the political system, okay, look like we have Hillary might run. Okay, she says she's not going to run. A lot of these politicians play that game. Oh, I'm not going to run. I might run. Maybe I might run, right? So that's another game that politicians play. Get you all hyped up. It's all part of the drama. It's the excitement. So I see that. I heard about it. Not that I keep tabs on it like that, but you know, I hear stuff. And so yeah, it looked like the system might try to suggest for you to have a woman president. So yeah, if you have a woman president, the world will be better. Yeah. Yep. Again, the idea suggests that you are stupid and slow. So yeah, it's going to basically get you a woman president. You know, it's going to suggest that, say, hey, look, everybody always fantasizes having a woman president. Here's your chance, right? So that's how it works with the celebrity with the political paradigm. So yeah, it's interesting how the whole thing works. You know, it really is. It's just amazing. But you know, again, all these things is suggested. All of that, okay? It is. And what else? We got religion, faith. Yeah, religion, faith. I'm gonna move on from politics. So, but yeah, religion, faith. We basically got somebody that's basically, you know, we got all these different type of religion, faith, right? So many different religion, faith. I created a clip on religion, but a lot of us this particular idea is such a I tell you this, religion, faith, whether it's Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, whatever, it really, I tell you this, to tell you the truth, everybody, this is the kind of idea that really, I mean, it really gets you psychologically. I mean, it's suggested that when you don't, and it goes back what I was saying to you about the political party, politics and celebrity. When you decide to not know who you really are, and you don't have a great appreciation of yourself, yeah, these ideas are going to come at you. It's going to suggest these things to you. So, for somebody, let's say that you want to join any of these religion faiths, and you're going to do it for, let's say, some of you might join because various different reasons. Maybe for a woman, right? You want to meet a church girl? It could be various reasons. You become religion faith because you want to change your life. You feel lost. You have no direction. That's the game that you play yourself. You have no direction in your life because you just decided for a moment, you decided not know who you are, right? So you're lost. You play the game that you're lost, and that's how the religion faith, especially Christianity, for example, because I was a Christian. It's gonna become the savior. It's gonna come and reel you in like a fish. You ever seen those little fish icon behind these cars? Yeah, you seen that? Yep, that's a Christian, and that person is proud. Yep. So yeah, for example, Christianity will reel you in, catches of men, will reel you in because you don't know who you are, you have no direction, and you wonder what's going to happen to my life after I die. Am I saved? So yeah, a lot of you will play this game that I need to be saved. Some religion faith, Muslims, very similar to Christianity's. Some of you might basically want to go by your faith because of a particular religion figure. Okay? And it really, you know what? This idea, it's like so many people are slaves on this idea. You may not see it because you decide to be a slave by choice. But so many people, it's like you feel like you just want to be so righteous and so holy, and you figured that you just you're doing great for the world. But then you realize that you're allowing the idea itself. You created an outside God. Okay, this is the thing about consciousness. Consciousness creates an outside God to worship it. It's like, wow, that's just what a lot of people do. I did it for a moment, even though I kind of question a lot of stuff, but I did it for a moment. So I'm not recording my journal to say I'm better than anybody. I done it. Everything was all about experience. That's what it's all about. It's all about experience. So yeah, we did it, and that's just how the game works, So yeah, it's just that we become a slave to these ideas, We follow, will depend, a lot of you grow up with this religion belief. Your parents tell you that for example, you're a Christian for life, you're a Muslim for life, you're a Jehovah's Witness, and you got to follow these things, okay? You have to follow these things. And if you don't follow these particular belief systems, right, this religion faith, something's going to happen to you. Where are you going to go? See what I mean? You become a slave. It's fear. Religion is built on fear. A lot of you don't realize that. You decide not to realize that for a moment until you decide to wake up. But yeah, it's not only suggests fear, but it divides. You're all divided. You all worship your gods and you play the game of being divided. One God is better than any other God. Which God is the real God? Which Bible is the actual truth? You create a book. Okay, we create a book to basically tell you that this is giving you a life application. Yeah. It's funny, I realized when I was a Christian, the Bible talks about how God gives man free will, some outside God. But the funny thing is that you see there's a string attached to it. It's kind of similar to the American idea of freedom. The American idea of freedom is built on rules. There's freedom. Oh yeah, there's freedom. But if you do something rogue, right? If you do something, you're condemned. You're going to be punished. So yeah, the outside gods say that you have free will. But if you decide to sleep with a lot of women, right? And you refuse to repent, but you're sleeping around a lot of women, right? I mean, this is free will. What's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to your salvation? Your salvation's at stake because you decide to sleep with a lot of women. You decide to do certain things, okay? So yeah, you're being basically held captive, basically by a religion faith. And that's just how it works. It's just the truth, everybody. You know, it is. It's all suggested. But, you know, the beauty thing about it, we don't have to take it, you know? So yeah, we're basically divided by all these belief systems. You know, that's just the thing is, we're just divided. And I'm like, you know, you think that you're bridging the world as one, and you're not. I created a clip on religion, but I just wanted to I'm doing my 7th journal because you see everything in this world, okay, is mental and physical. That's the thing about humanity. But the overall thing that's dominant, that plays the background, is spiritual. Even though these religion faith claims to be spiritual, not really. I mean, it's basically, if you kind of break it down like this, and I'm going to do my best, everything's mental on that. Because you see, it's suggesting certain things to you. It's certain things for you to do certain things. And for you to feel safe, okay? It's a false idea of feeling safe. So if you don't do certain things, what it says for you to do, or what's required, there's something's going to happen to you, right? It's a lot of things on that. So yeah, you know, I mean, we all have choices. I mean, you are freedom to observe any of these religious faith. I'm just breaking it down into simplest forms, you know, that we become a slave to these religion faith. You know, a lot of you probably may not want to listen to what I have to say. That's fine with me. You know, I can say this: it's never too late. It's never too late to wake up. That's just what I learned. And I'm like, it's just the thing I learned about people. It's like, wow, you know, religion. Some of these religion faith, they got these music. They got certain music playing, certain instruments, just to get you. It's all subliminal. I know I sound like a conspiracist, but it's all just to get you to make you feel so good, all holy, clapping your hand, all that, right? But the thing is like, wow, you know, I mean, it's funny. It's like, I mean, there's people that observe certain religion, faith, and they don't always follow the rules. That's the thing. We set rules and we break it. It's so funny. It's like, wow, why we do that? Why we set rules in the first place? It's just so weird. It's a weird thing about humanity. The things that we do by choice. We set rules and we break it. We create these laws, right? We create these laws. There's so many stupid laws that's been created, all right? And the U.S., right? A lot of stupid laws that we allow these politicians to pass and all that. Pass these bills. And it's so funny, it's what weird, like, wow, we break them every day. Each and every one of you break the law. You break the law of your religion, faith, and you break the law of your political laws. Wow, it's amazing. I wanted to touch back a little bit about the laws real quick, about these political laws. You know, there's a lot of laws that we break, but you know the funny thing is that when certain laws become enforced, like, a lot of, like for example, at your job, right? Let's just say at your job, there's certain rules that your job have. A lot of people don't follow a particular rule. But because now suddenly, for convenience sake, now your job decides to say, oh, now we're enforcing the rule. So wait a minute. My question to this and to these political laws, the laws that's been put out there, okay, it's been put out there because you felt there's a reason, right? But no one's following it. But now you're going to put it out there that you're going to enforce it now. So you're going to actually do this for convenience sake. It don't make no sense at all. I realize this a lot throughout humanity. We put these stupid laws. We don't follow it, right? We break it. I mean, it just goes to show that you really can't control people. Law and order can never control people. Even rules at a job. I mean, really. It's just weird. It's just so weird. I'm learning so much about the human experience, about just being human. It's just so many stupid things. Oh man, it's a lot of stupid things. Wow. Let me just share this real quick. I'm sorry, I'm going off the topic of religion a little bit. There's a singer, right? Very popular singer. Very popular singer, pop star. She was when she was so popular back in the early 2000s and stuff like that. She was basically, she was so popular, right? The way she, and now the other thing is too is that the way she dressed. The way she dresses, like, wow, my gosh, it's unbelievable. And it's funny. You would think that the audience would be women in their 20s, but no. Me and my friend was talking about this. A majority of that pop star's fans was girls. Yeah, girls dressing with bras and makeup and all that other stuff and all that. It's like weird. Wow. It's like I realize, just an example. It's like there's so many things that in American culture is so hypocrite. So it's just so much full of hypocrisy. You try to keep some sort of moral thing down, but then there's so much stuff that's within it that's just basically contradict itself. It's just fascinating. You try to be so holy, yet you don't even follow your own religion. But the thing is, if you do follow your own religion, you're like a slave. Are you free? You're not free. You're just going by a story that's been passed on to you by a book. And somebody that seems to be more holy than you, right? That's the thing that we created. It's just interesting. You see how this is what we do. It's just, but I gotta say this. This is my 7th journal. I know this one's a little longer. I have hope for humanity because you see all the stuff that I just talked about. It's all a transition. It's all based on transition. There's a lot of people I see in spirit right now mature enough to drop these ideas, like celebrity, religion, politics. You think that you need these things so badly, and you think that you're not going to survive without it. You think life is going to be chaos and all that. I'm going to say this, and I guarantee this. You may disagree with me now. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. But I'm going to say it like this. When you decide to wake up and know who you are and have a great appreciation of yourself, those 3 things that I mentioned in this journal clip so far, you would drop it just like that. I guarantee it. I want to say 110% guarantee, or maybe 200. Let's just go for a nice 200%. Just how confident I am. Because I realign who I am. What you guys say, reconnected. I've seen so much of life. It's not just on earth, but spiritually. I'm like, I just know there's a lot of things more to life than the stuff that we hold up, these 3 ideas. Oh yeah, there is. And you're wondering, how do I do it? You're gonna have to make a decision from within. You gotta do things, the simple things. You gotta recondition your mind. You gotta say all the good stuff about you. Acknowledge that you are consciousness. You are source of life. You are. There's nothing below you. There's nothing above you. You are source of life. So that means you deserve all the great things of life. I mean, if you want to set yourself up for all the crappy things in life, okay, go ahead. All I'm saying, because you're source of life, myself, and no matter where you're from, you deserve all the great things in life. Doesn't matter who you are. So it's interesting about the human paradigm. We create these ideas. You build like an invisible prison cell for yourselves, and you think that's just life. Like, you think that this is the only way to be, and you just become a slave by choice. I'm gonna keep saying a slave. Your ego is probably ruffled up, but it's the truth. You're a slave by choice. It is hard for the ego. Somebody tells me I'm a slave, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to prove myself wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove myself wrong ultimately. And I'm going to do what I can to look into. If I was hearing someone like myself talking in an audio clip, I'm going to look into it. That's what I'll do. I'll look into it. Like, what is this person talking about? I'm going to look into myself. Now, I want to say this to you, everybody. Are you going to look into yourself? Are you going to see past all the stuff that I talk about and really see who you really are? And you're going to have a great appreciation of yourself? Or are you going to continue to play the game of being a slave? I mean, okay. Some people find it fun to be a slave. It's an excitement. It's like a rush. You know? It's like a nice rush. You get something. You're getting something out of it. I understand that. I understand that fully. You don't know who you are for the moment. So I know about the human paradigm. It's all about self-discovery. It is. It's all about, it's the joy of when you find yourself, who you are. It's like the biggest celebration of all times. I got it. I understand. Some people process differently. But you know what? Because life is infinite, it's never too late. It's not like your religion faith suggests that there's not enough time. You got to convert to this belief system, this belief, in order for you to be saved. You know? For Muhammad or Jesus or whoever, whatever figure that you worship. Hurry. Hurry. Convert to this religious belief before you're doomed permanently. So yeah, no, life is infinite. You can take what I'm saying or leave it, but life is infinite. It's truly infinite. You could decide to wake up and rediscover who you really are at any time. But it's not going to stop me from doing this journal. I'm doing this journal because I just want to share how I feel. Even though a lot of the stuff that I'm saying is very similar to the clips that I created. I know that. I understand that, but I still wanted to do this because I want to put them all together for a reason. To have a greater appreciation of yourself. To reshape your mind. You see, your mind is conditioned. It's conditioned in a certain way because you did it. You created your mind in a certain way. You have the ability to change or reshape your mind into a different form. Okay? Your thought forms. Okay? I told you, your thought forms could create a reality that's going to serve you or not serve you. And it's just how it works. So everything that I share to you, everything connects. It does. So I think I said a lot in this journal, and it's been a pleasure me doing the 7th part. I don't know what I'm going to talk about on the 8th part, but most likely I probably will do an 8th part. I'm inspired. I'm inspiring myself too. I'm not just inspiring everybody, but myself. I have hope. I always have hope, no matter what my mind suggests. I have a lot of hope for everybody because everybody's consciousness. Everybody. So, okay, until then, I will be back. Take care.